evening, everybody. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. I know that Jerome is downstairs standing guard at the door to make sure anybody who wants to come in can come in, but it looks like we've got folks here to get started. So just calling your attention to the resolution purpose statement, as we always try to situate ourselves in what our charge is. And with that, roll call, please.
Here.
Present.
And Commissioner Allen.
Okay, appears we have a quorum. So I invite you to take a moment to review your minutes, which were part of your packet. When you've had a chance to review it, if anybody wants to make a motion, that would be in order. It's been moved and supported. All in favor of adopting the minutes from May 20th? Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Public address to the board. Any member of the public that wishes to address the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission on any matters will have 3 minutes to make comment. We ask that you state your name and city of residence. In addition, in the true spirit of Harambe, which is Swahili for pulling together as one, please keep your comments professional, no offensive language, and no personal attacks. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the commission? Any members wishing to address the commission? All right, going once, going twice. Then we will forego the response to the public address and proceed with a very important item of business, which is welcoming a new commissioner. So I know everybody had a chance to review the resume and the application of Commissioner Janelle Allen Bay, but I would like to welcome you, and also, if you'd like, give you a few moments to share anything you'd like, and then we can maybe do a quick go around here so folks can also introduce themselves to you.
First of all, I thank this board. I'm very honored to be able to sit among you and be able to represent some people who are often overlooked. Today's a great day, a historical day, to be honest with you. For the fact that I've been a part of almost 3 million people in this state. So I'm proud to be a representation of that group and make sure that we have some type of voice. So thank you. I'm John L. Allen Bay, as you said.
Excellent. Thank you. And there's kind of a loud blower over here, so I'm just going to ask that if folks, as they're going around, just if you can remember to use your microphone, that makes it a little easier to hear. Thanks. Who wants to go next? Just a quick introduction. Sandra, would you mind starting?
No, I don't mind. I already know this guy. Welcome, Janelle. It's good to have you and the great work that you do in the community and with the Ignite program, certainly in marginalized community. And so we're excited to have your voice at the table, not just for that, but for all of the additional perspectives that you'll add to our conversation. So welcome. Glad you're here.
Mr. John L., my name is Merv Webb. It's good to have you on the commission. I heard about you a lot of good things. But I'm looking forward to meeting with you and working with you on the team, so welcome.
I guess we'll bounce over here. Hi, I'm good. How are you? You and I have seen each other in spaces. Percy, usually I see you with Percy, and I know Percy, and anyway, but I'm really glad that you're here. And I'm really,
Batman, I'm Robin.
okay, are you sure it's not the other way around?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm very grateful that you took the seat that I used to hold, which is as an employee of the county. That was the seat that I did have, and now I've morphed over into one of the community seats since I just retired. But so first, I'm grateful that you are in that seat, and then I would also like to thank my fellow commissioners for appointing me to sit in one of the community seats so that I can stay on and do the work that we've all started and that is so important. And hopefully that says Nancy Edwards. Like, I can't see over, but, okay, that's who I am.
Hello, I'm Victoria. I know I don't know you, but I know about your work, so you're well known. I just want to welcome you along with everyone else. And I guess I should let you know that I'm with the International Affairs Center, and we do immigration and translation services, mostly for the low-income community.
I know you and your work, and I'm excited to have you joining us.
I'm Vivian. I work in the clerk's office in elections.
Of course, I'm Jerome Thrillkill.
And we know each other. This is our second meeting together today, so. But happy to be able to serve with you in this capacity.
Ditto what everybody said.
Well, we again warmly welcome you to this. We look forward to having your added perspective and expertise, and this is definitely the kind of group where there's room to do whatever sort of work you're interested in, that we're a group that likes to see where your interests are and how we can best collectively support each other in moving that forward. So with that, we'll move to work group updates, which is actually kind of appropriate. Yeah.
Real quick question, as we're welcoming new commissioners. We are down a county commissioner. And so as an 11-member commission, we don't have a second county commissioner. And I'm wondering if we have had a conversation with Commissioner Lloyd about.
Understanding is we do have 3.
So that person said that they didn't want to be part of?
Right, and I think they reappointed Getzinger to replace
Oh, but so is that on the table to happen? Okay, all right,
Yes, the conversations are being had on who the replacement will be.
Okay.
Yes. And Commissioner Chairman Lloyd is an ex officio member of this body.
okay. Again, as we're talking about the makeup of the commission, I just thought this was the time maybe to ask the question.
Certainly. Well, I appreciate you asking it. I appreciate the clarification that is in the works, and certainly we definitely welcome our Board of Commissioners members, that they can provide a really important bridge between our work and the work of the larger county. And so in terms of work group updates, we have 2 work groups, the Community Engagement Work Group and the Metrics Work Group. Would you like to share what's been going on with the Community Engagement Group?
Yeah, thank you so much. We didn't meet the last Monday in May due to the Memorial Day holiday. We're scheduled to meet next week, Monday, the 23rd. Hello? Okay, scheduled to meet on Monday, the 23rd. I'm pleased to share that one of the applicants for the DEI Commissioner, Anaya Allen, has graciously volunteered to serve on the Community Engagement Work Group, and we're excited to have her still being a part of this work. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to have her, because like you all said, our list of applicants was very, very strong, all just amazing with the work that they're currently doing and their interest in diversity, equity, and inclusion, advancing it in Genesee County. So I'm excited to invite her and have her be a part of our team. and she'll be meeting with us on Monday, the 23rd. I think other than that, to bring you up to speed, Commissioner Allen Bay, we work in the community engagement work group. We've been doing outreach in the communities to put resolutions forward to the county commissioners of observances and celebrations of various cultural, ethnic, as well as other areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and putting those resolutions forward for the Genesee County Commissioners to approve, and then it become a real thing and on the books within our county administration to make that happen. So we've been excited and engaged in that work. Just to bring a little bit up to speed, we've done, of course, Women's History Month and Arab American Heritage Month, Jewish Heritage Month. This month, we have Juneteenth, worked with Commissioner Wayhill on Pride, and then I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Jordan, who worked with preparation for July for disability, the Disability Month resolution. And so that's the next thing on the agenda. We have an express goal to get these resolutions completed and submitted in a timely fashion so that it could get to County Commissioners Committee and then make it to the earliest meeting, a full board meeting, so that an entire month can be observed. And so that is our goal. And we're working closely to make that happen. And we're going to hit it out the park, certainly in the month of July. Commissioner Jordan?
Well, thank you very much. And I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Webb because he's actually took the lead in doing the community outreach. And so before we vote on the draft resolution, actually wanted to turn it over to Commissioner Webb in order to introduce our special guest that, if you recall, we've tried to invite our community partners to actually share about their work as part of our commitment to community engagement that's robust and meaningful. Commissioner Webb.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan. I'm proud to introduce to the Commission's Board the program Project Search. Personally, I work with the program doing my current role as a D&I consultant at Consumers Energy. This is my second year working with the program out in my workforce, and bringing that program into the company has created major strides within our company. And so when I heard about the program coming into Genesee County, I was amazed because the national director wanted a program here for so long. And so this brings me to Jan. Jan has been working with Project Search ever since its inception, I want to say last year. And I'd like to invite her up now to explain more of what Project Search is doing for Genesee County.
Hello, thanks for having me. My name is Jan Cox, and I am the principal at the Transition Center for the Genesee Intermediate School District. And this is one of the most exciting projects that I get to work on is the Project Search project. We're in completing year 2 of working with the Genesee County Parks. And how it works is we have a classroom that is completely embedded into the Genesee County Parks. And I don't even know if this is appropriate, but Nancy, did you work at the parks?
Just retired from the parks, and I was part of the original conversation about having Project Search come to the parks.
So as soon as you started talking, I was like, I recognize that voice. I'm like, I know that you were on the ground floor working with us, working on Project Search. And so it was one of those things where we were just we literally put up chart paper and markers. And it was just an amazing visionary process that we did with the park system, because what was so unique about Project Search with the Genesee County Parks is it was the first one ever in a park system. It was started in the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and most of them are in hospitals because that was how it was originally started, was in hospitals. And we actually didn't know how it was going to work with a park system because it was so spread out. And so we initially, when they were going to partner with us, we were like, well, we just don't think it's going to work. And then we came back to the drawing board because we really felt like it was going to be perfect for our students, and it is perfect for our students. And the park system was just wonderful to work with. And so how it works is the host business is, the parks is the host business, and they provide a classroom space for us, which is at the Crossroads Village. And so they have Crossroads Village, keep Genesee County beautiful, keep Genesee County Parks beautiful, and then also Formar. So we have those three sites. And, but the classroom is actually housed at Crossroads Village, but it's not in the schoolhouse. Some people think we have it at the actual schoolhouse, but it's not at the schoolhouse. And then we have internships. So we have three 10-week-long internships throughout the year. And we have 8 students, 8 interns. As soon as they come to Project Search from Transition Center, they change from students to interns. And the students that we have are moderately cognitively impaired. And what that means is they have to have an IQ between a 40 and a 55, which is moderately cognitively impaired, or they have autism, and they have to function at that level. And so they're pretty impacted by their disability. And but they have pretty high adaptive scores, and they're really amazing. They're just amazing students. And they come to the park and they work, and they have to interview for the positions that the county parks have to come. We have a whole process. They have skills day. They have to qualify for the program, and they come to the park, and then they have to interview for the individual internships. And so then they interview for those internships. They stay there for 10 weeks, wherever they're at, and then they have to, after those 10 weeks, then they interview for the next 10 weeks, and then they interview for the next 10 weeks. And then after the third internship, that's the full year, the school year, that's their last year of school. They're all adults too, by the way. They're 18 to 26-year-olds, because in the state of Michigan, you can have services up until the age of 26 if you have special needs and you haven't received a diploma yet. And by the end, the goal is that you will be ready for a job. Because I want to share a little bit of data with you. For individuals with disabilities, the data is pretty dire. In the state of Michigan, it's at the last I looked, which was just recently, actually was last week, it's 19% employability for people with disabilities. That's not very good. And in Genesee County, for people with disabilities, at this level, the level I'm talking about, it's 6%. That's terrible. And we have to do something about that. And Project Search is one of those things that we do. And Project Search has turned the outcomes really on its head. We have finished year 2, and we are just now graduating. So they just finished last week. And after year 2, we are at 81% employability for our interns.
Yeah.
And we're not even and we're still working. Our goal is always 100% employability for our interns. And so it's just an amazing program and we want them to be competitively employed. And what that means is that they're working with people that are non-disabled. Now, that doesn't mean that working at a facility with other people that are disabled, we're not saying that that's a bad thing. We're just saying our goal is that they're working with people that are not disabled. And that's what we're looking for as far as internships go. And Project Search, that's their model, is that they're working with other people that are not disabled. But if they were to find a program that that would be fine too. We want them to be employed. So that's the goal. We also work with, part of this process is they go through lots of things where they're doing things with Meyer. We bring in Meyer, and we do mock interviews with their team. And because of that partnership that we had with Meyer, Meyer got really interested in Project Search. Well, Project Search has been interested in Meyer for a very long time. They've been trying to get Meyer to have a Project Search for years, and Meyer was just not biting. Well, Meyer started biting, and we got to walk alongside Meyer, and guess where the first Project Search was for Meyer was this year in Genesee County. Amazing. Yep. It is on Center Road. They just finished their first year and was the Meyer Project Search. And amazing, amazing. And they have, Project Search has been really wanting to get into Meyer for a very long time. And that was the first big chain that they've really tried to get into. And so now they're into Meyer, and that store manager is amazing. And he was like, let's do another. I want another Meyer, and he wants the other one to be in Genesee County as well. So we've been working with another Meyer in Genesee County to start another Project Search. So we're gonna really see some employability. That data is gonna get better for our people with disabilities. And we're going to see some of that increasing, and because they're ready to work, They have a right to try for a job. We just like we all do. We all have a right to try, right? And they have a right to try, and get out there and try for a job. So we also have partnered, and how I met Merv was we partnered with Consumers Energy, and that was great. They had his group from Jackson came out, and we got to meet them at the gas. I don't even know what it was called.
Flint Gas City.
Yes, Flint Gas City. That was a lot of fun. And we got to meet the Project Search group from there, and we brought our Project Search group. So it's just been nice to have partnerships. And then got to talk to Merv out at the national conference. We're going out again to the national conference in Austin, and so we'll get to speak again. And it's just a great opportunity for our interns. And what's wonderful about it is we always want to do things that have impact. You know, there's lots of great ideas, and there's lots of things that sound good, but when you find something that actually that makes an impact, that's when you're like, oh my gosh, we have to continue to keep doing these things. And Project Search is one of those things that really makes an impact. It changes lives. When some of these students, especially the ones at Meyer, the Meyer is run by Kersley, and they have a consortium for the Kersley program. There's 5 school districts. It's Bentley, Bendel. I can't think of all the ones that work with the Kersley one. They were literally calling students that had graduated and were like on the couch, not working, had no skills, and now they are working. They have jobs. So this is changing their lives, literally changing their lives. Our students that are our interns that are working now, they're working 40 hours a week. It's changing their lives. When we saw what could happen with Project Search, it changed the way that we do business at the Transition Center. When we could see the outcomes that the students could have, we were like, we're not getting them ready. They're not ready for the workplace. And when we saw what the business world was like, we were like, we're not getting them ready. And that was like, when you confront that as an educator, we're like, we have to do better. And we started to do better. We changed the way that we did things. We have revamped everything that we do. And it has impacted everything that we do, and Project Search is what has done that. And so it just has been, so I just thank you for giving me the opportunity to share it. I share it every time I can, just because it has, for the small, like when you think about the small investment and resources that we have to do and the big impact that it has, it is truly amazing. It's just truly amazing, the life-changing opportunities that it gives. So thank you.
Thank you very much for giving of your time and sharing that update, as well as for the input that you put into the resolution information tonight. Are there any questions from commissioners?
Can you announce where that next Meyer is located, or that's confidential?
Yeah, so we're thinking that it'll probably be, not for this coming school year, but it would be the 26-27 school year is what the projected date would be.
In which location?
Probably the one in Swartz Creek, probably. Yeah.
So I was, like I said, at the beginning of this whole process, and then I sort of backed out a little bit, but because other parks folks took the lead, but I was always there. And so I was on site with these students that went through the process, that worked with Keep Genesee County Beautiful, that were at the Church Street office, that were at the Watershed Coalition office. I met some amazing young people. And it was just a natural fit. They were ready to work. They fit right in. We noticed some gaps in education, and I'm going to tell a little bit of a story about one young woman who, this was around presidential election, and what we realized was that there had been no education, and these are adults, so they can vote, but we realized that there was no education for them about voting. And so we said to the staff, here's a gap in knowledge for these kids. I call them kids because they're younger than me. But one of the things is the staff Josh was receptive, and he's like, yeah, you're right, there's a gap here. And so we got her registered to vote, and she voted for the very first time. And she texted us a picture of herself at the voting location, and we were like so proud of her. And I mean, it is life-changing, and just the relationships that we built with each other was amazing, just amazing. This is a whole population of folks who needed a chance, needed people to believe in them, needed some resources, and when it was all put together, it makes life-changing things happen. So just amazing.
I just want to echo what Nancy shared. I've had the opportunity to engage with several of the Project Search students, and they are excited to be working for the county. My last encounter was at the training for Parks and Recreation for the summer, and 3 of them cornered me as I was leaving. It was like, "Are you leaving?" I was like, "I'm not leaving you. I'm just leaving to go to another meeting." They're like, "When are you coming back?" And so I actually saw one of them in the grocery store, and they said, "You haven't come back yet." I was like, "I'm coming, I promise." But I've engaged with them several times, one in Nancy's office and 2 other times, and they are a delight and joy to have. So thank you for sharing this information with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very much. And so that actually then will bring us to the Disability Month resolution, which I trust you've had a chance to look through at this time. So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the resolution recognizing July 2025 as Disability Month?
Just a question, is it Disability Month or Disability Pride Month? What's the actual official?
I think it's Disability Pride Month, because I know there's 2 different months. There's Disability Pride in July, and then Disability Employment Month in October.
Okay.
Pride Month?
Yes.
So that might be one little change at the top where, because it says recognizing July as Disability Month, but in the text of it says Disability Pride Month.
Any other changes, corrections, discussion?
In the first paragraph, it talks about culture and contributions, and I'm wondering if it might the wording might sound better if it says recognizing culture and contributions of people with disabilities. Then you can skip the comma and it just flows better.
So you would have it say, first celebrated as a month dedicated to recognizing people with disabilities, and then what would you have it say?
To recognize the culture and contributions of people with disabilities.
Okay, so dedicated to recognizing the culture and contributions of people with disabilities. Okay. Any other suggestions? See thoughtful expressions.
You want to put on the third, where it says, whereas the Local Americans with Disabilities Act annual celebration will take place on July 25th, 2025 at 11 a.m.?
Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
The term human family, it just kind of made me pause a little. I just didn't really know if there might be a better phrase. I don't know that I have a better phrase to offer, but I just think, maybe even our global community or our local community, I don't know, but I felt like that was just a little bit,
Okay, so you feel more comfortable with our community? Others have any thoughts on that? Everybody comfortable with community? Sounds like we're comfortable with community. All right, so I've noted those 4 changes, inserting the word pride between disability and month on the title, the reordering of the sentence in the first paragraph to say recognizing the culture and contributions of people with disabilities, adding the year 2025 to the date of the annual celebration, and replacing human family with the word community.
Two questions. Thank you for that. Did you all have a copy of this draft resolution or no, from the packet? Because our guest is here and has shared information and was instrumental in getting this draft created, should we read it aloud so that she could hear it also?
Absolutely.
And then secondly, we can certainly discuss this more in the community engagement work group, but I would like for us to consider ensuring that these resolutions, once drafted and approved by the full Board of Commissioners, are made available to those individuals and groups that helped us to get them created, and more, on letterhead or more formal documentation that says that.
Understood.
So am I the reader? Would you like to read it first?
Sure.
Okay.
I give it a shot. All right, can everybody hear me okay? To the Honorable Chairperson and members of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners in Genesee County, Michigan. Whereas the United States and individual states across the nation have recognized July as Disability Pride Month, which commemorates the signing of the American with Disabilities Act by President George H.W. Bush on July 26, 1990, and was celebrated as a month dedicated to recognizing culture and contributions of people with disabilities, their culture and contributions in July 2015 upon the 25th anniversary of the Act signing. And whereas Disability Pride Month is also intended to recognize that disability is part of the natural variation of life and not something to be shunned or stigmatized, while also acknowledging that people with disabilities still face barriers to full access and participation in parts in our society. And whereas the local Americans with Disability Act annual celebration will take place on July 25th, 2025 at 11 a.m. on the front lawn of Howard's Catholic High School. And whereas Genesee County has local organizations dedicated to advancing opportunity for people with disabilities, including Project Search, which is the international program for individuals with disability age 18 to 26 who work towards competitive, integrated employment and a disability network, which supports and empowers people with disabilities to live independently in Genesee County throughout person-centered services, advocacy, and collaboration. And whereas Project Search model of internships and externships supported by skills trainers provide pathways for young people with disabilities to showcase how they can contribute to the operations of public organizations and private businesses, therefore changing mindsets about what people with disabilities can do as valued employees. And whereas two local partners, Genesee County Parks, which work with Project Search students at Crossroads Village, Formar Nature Preserve, keeps Genesee County beautiful, and other locations, and Meyer, which participates in mock interviews for Project Search participants and supports their transition into the workforce, have been especially steady employer partners. And whereas people with disabilities of all kinds have always been important members of our community and have made contributions to every sector of government, science, law, business, education, and civil society, both in Genesee County and across the country. Therefore, be it resolved that Genesee County Board of Commissioners hereby recognize the month of July 2025 as Disability Pride Month in Genesee County and encourage draft for discussion by the Genesee County Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission on June 11, 2025. All county departments to engage in celebratory activities and appropriate recognition, such as all participating in community events, sharing stories, and learning about people with disabilities and the contributions they have made to our country and nation. Be it further resolved that the Genesee County Clerk Register is directed to provide one copy of this resolution to each city, village, and township within Genesee County to each county clerk in the state of Michigan.
Thank you. Hey, with that, if there's no further discussion, we will call for a vote. I don't think we have to do a roll call vote. I don't think it's going to be that controversial. Let's just say all in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it appears unanimous. So we will forward this resolution with noted corrections for consideration at the next Board of Commissioners committee meeting. Yay. And I also appreciate Commissioner Etherly Johnson, your suggestion that we be sure to circle back with a finalized version for the community partners who've helped us in this process. Okay, that brings us then to the metrics work group. So my understanding is the metrics work group held off meeting because part of what we're doing with the Urban Institute is getting some assistance with that. And I also just want to note that I really appreciate that Commissioner Etherly Johnson has been able to step up and kind of be the one to shepherd, wrangle, organize the community engagement work group. And I think, based on on the interests that any of you might have. You know, these work groups are open to anybody, and I think with the metrics work group, we would also be very open, perhaps even overjoyed, to have somebody who might be also willing to work in that similar capacity with the metrics work group. So you don't have to raise your hand tonight, but I would invite you that if that's something that you would have an interest in serving in that capacity with the metrics work group, you know, sometime maybe between now and the next month, if you can just reach out to Jerome or me and let us know that you have that interest. Yeah. Okay. So with that, then we'll go to old business. So the Juneteenth resolution of 2025. So it did pass by the vote of the Board of Commissioners. It was, what was the final vote? Was it 7-2? 6?
7-2 for.
Okay, so it did pass. Not without discussion. Although not necessarily on the merits of that particular measure. That one just went through? Okay, so the Pride resolution, which did not technically come through our committee officially because that was crafted separately by a commissioner, but that also did pass just as an informational by a vote of 6-3. Urban Institute Technical Assistance. I think most of the people in the room were actually on that call. So rather than asking you to repeat out, you know, as if none of us were actually there, I would just maybe invite if there's anything for folks who participated in that call that you wanted to lift up as something that was either meaningful or a highlight or something that you'd want to share with others, that we create space for you to do so.
So on the call that we just had, our very own Kent Key was a presenter, talked about community engagement. I gotta say, maybe it was just me, but I feel like there was way too much that they tried to cover, and there wasn't a lot of time to think. I thought there's a lot to talk about, and I get that, but I feel like they tried to cram too much into too tight of a time, and a lot of it just like I didn't have, and maybe it's just me, like I needed more time to process, and I didn't have that time to process, so.
Appreciate you sharing that.
My thought on that last one. I feel like the one-on-ones to me was more helpful than the group piece.
It's time limited, right? I can't remember the.
It's a 6-month
physical
engagement.
block. No, I mean
Oh.
the meeting itself.
Yes,
It's a physical
yes.
block of time, so that's not a thing we can control, right?
You can get feedback, though, sure. Okay. Well, yes, I will certainly co-sign on the shout out for Dr. Key. That was awesome to see one of our colleagues from Flint getting the spotlight that they so deserve. Okay, so just so folks are aware, and you can put it on your calendars, we do have our next meeting held not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow from 2 to 4. So if you're available to attend, please do.
And I believe the topic of this next one is data. So.
Yep. So if you're somebody who has been serving or would like to be part of that metrics work group, this is your joyful time. You get to be all dated out. All right. If there's nothing further about the Urban Institute, then we'll move on to new business. And with that, before I turn the gavel over, so to speak, to Vivian to run the election, I'll just mention that there is one item that wasn't on the agenda, but can be added under new business, and that's just an update regarding our GARE membership, that we'll need to take some action on that. But we'll first turn the gavel over, so to speak, to Vivian for the election. I think we do chair first.
According to our bylaws, you are allowed to vote for yourself, just like we did with the last process, but you are allowed to vote for yourself or nominate yourself as the chair. Just wanted to make sure that that's very clear. All right.
I nominate Elizabeth Jordan.
Elizabeth Jordan.
Elizabeth Jordan.
Elizabeth Jordan?
Elizabeth Jordan.
I guess I'll go along with the group, Elizabeth Jordan, I guess. And Marquita.
Commissioner Adams.
I am honored to serve and will,
It's the best vote you've had all month, probably.
yeah. Oh, goodness. Okay.
For vice chair,
I nominate Commissioner Sandra Etherly Johnson.
Sandra Etherly Johnson.
Sandra Etherly Johnson.
Commissioner Johnson.
Nancy Edwards. I guess we should ask, do you accept? Congratulations, Madam Vice Chair. Okay, deep breath. Deep breath. Okay, so offline, we can also talk about whether you want to continue working with, as leading the work group, or whether you would request some support with that, because I deeply respect my comrade, my comadre here, and also want to make sure that we're collectively supporting one another as much as possible. All right, so we'll jump to then the GEAR update in Mr. Jerome Threlkeld.
GARE is the Government Alliance for Race and Equity, and we joined forces and aligned ourselves with GARE last year. And it's a dynamic peer-to-peer learning and practice network dedicated to advancing racial equity in government so that we can all thrive where we live, learn, work, and play. And so our membership went from July 11th, and I think it'll end before our next meeting. So I wanted to bring it up now so that we can have a vote to see if we want to continue to stay aligned with GARE. We received a lot of resources from GARE. We actually learned of the Urban Institute Technical Assistance through being connected to GARE. So I just wanted to bring that to the commission for a vote. The price of our membership is $2,000 that will come out of our budget.
Did you also want to mention the leadership conference?
And there, I was going to
Do it separate? Okay.
two separate.
Okay, thanks for that update then, and so if we want to proceed with our renewal of the GARE membership, that would be it would be appropriate to have a vote, a motion and a vote around the $2,000 expenditure.
I move that we renew our membership with GARE.
So move.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we will, thank you, Jerome, for bringing that to our attention. We will proceed with the $2,000 renewal subscription for GARE.
And also a part of that membership, there is a GARE Leaders Summit that is taking place in September, where the chair of the committee and the staff person from the government are asked to represent the organization. And so that is in September 9th through 12th. And so we would need permission to go forth with our registration and to represent you.
Second.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh,
Okay,
Not Paris or,
not Paris. Nope. But for a group focused on civil rights, I can't think of a better place to have it. Yeah. Okay, so we do need a vote for that. Any, all in favor of authorizing that travel?
aye.
aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. That brings us to the announcement portion. So you can see there that we've got the work group meetings, the next of which will be next Monday, and for the community engagement group, followed by the metrics on July 7th. So again, I would just ask that you be thinking about if you have an interest in stepping forward in either of the leadership roles with that, to just let us know. And of course, everybody, please attend the meetings if you have the interest. We've also got the dates for the next Board of Commissioners meeting, so that committee meeting listed on the 16th of July, that's when we would expect that the Disability Pride Month resolution would be considered, and if they pass it, I'm telling the truth? Or Jerome may work his magic. We may have a catch-up month in August, we'll see, in order to catch our breath before the September Hispanic Heritage Month. And then you can see there the two upcoming holidays for which the county be closed, Juneteenth and Independence Day. Any other announcements that folks want to share?
Not so much an announcement, but more of, well, I guess we have an announcement too. About a question, I think I'm in the right place. I'm looking at our DEI Commission website, or web page, I should say, on the county page, and it just lists the members. I was wondering if we could add like a synopsis of what we do, the dates of our meetings, and the minutes to that.
I have received full permissions now to manipulate and to update and make it what we want it to be. So
Perfect.
yes.
Great. And in terms of announcements, there's a lot of stuff going on all throughout this month to recognize Juneteenth. Primarily on Thursday, June 19th, where I know both the county and the city are closed. We have our traditional Juneteenth celebration at Max Brandon Park, otherwise known as Forest Park, otherwise known as Dewey Woods, from 12 to 4, directly followed by the Juneteenth parade, and then the evening, the Afrobeat celebration downtown. There are some other events being hosted by other organizations as well, but the main one and the historic one is that. But then also recognizing June as Pride Month, Fenton is actually hosting a Pride Festival. This is their 4th annual Fenton Pride, which is a great event. It's definitely smaller than Flint Pride, but definitely a different audience too. It's much more family-friendly focus, not that the Flint one isn't, but they have kids' activities and crafts and free things to do, as well as live entertainment. But one of the things that I find really remarkable about the Fenton Pride Festival, which is this Saturday from 2 to 7 at Rackham Park, downtown Fenton, is that A, it's downtown Fenton in the middle of a very conservative area, but B, through the participants of the last couple of years, it doesn't just serve the city of Fenton. It's folks from that broader South Genesee County community. including folks in northern Livingston and northern Oakland County that have nowhere else to go. I'm talking about places like Howell and Brighton, and we've talked to individuals that have said they've come every year for the last 4 years because Genesee County is the only place within distance of them that is accepting of them. And I think that's a testament to the work that our county as a community does in opening our arms and holding up to people. On the flip side of that, and I'm getting some more information, but my understanding is that ICE has been in the county this week and including making several arrests in Flint Township today.
I would also add that Flint Pride Festival will be
July
19th.
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 2 months.
Pride 365.
There you go. Okay. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Charles, did I see that there was going to be something at the McCree Theater for Juneteenth?
Yeah, on the 20th, June 20th,
Friday.
6 o'clock, I believe.
Yeah, I thought I saw it was from like 6 to 9, and it was like a conversation, and I cannot remember Malcolm X and,
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
But it's on the website.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
on the Sloan website is a calendar of so many things, which I think is really cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think the mayor's trying to do his own thing too.
Yeah, there's a Black Wall Street thing at the
At the,
Mays Senior Center on Saturday.
Alternative programming for alternative entities.
There's a lot going on.
yeah. So with that, I thank you. Yes, Victoria.
You were talking about ICE.
Yep.
I'm sure most everyone has seen the cards of Know Your Rights. If anyone hasn't or anyone is interested in getting that information, feel free to email me and I will send it to you. Because it's a very specific set of things that immigrants can do. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Commissioner Etherly Johnson on her DEI Champion Series, which was phenomenal. The conversations, the learning, just being in the room with folks, and her presentation was stellar. If you've never heard her, if you've never had the opportunity to be educated by this woman, please take advantage of that because she is a stellar presenter and shared so much about herself and then an opened conversation with the rest of us in the room. I will go again. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to give you kudos publicly for that.
Okay, and with that, we are adjourned, and I'll